What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. Oh, I see PapaGenos' name is on here instead of Alpha's because I didn't change that over. But at least your
Hey
video
everybody,
and
what's up?
audio is there. That's the most important thing. Well, it is Tuesday instead of a Monday, but it's Tuesday, April
Mhm.
12th, 2022. I am Andrew, and I have AlphaStoutland with me.
What's up, guys?
So I'm going to change your name over so you can talk and tell people what you've been up to the past week.
Like I told Drew, not much. I have not touched my Switch in weeks because I'm kind of taking a personal little break from it because I need to get some stuff done around the house and in my room, get everything organized. I'm working on a massive Pokemon card bulk order.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that has been a monster in and of itself. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to get caught up on stuff before I go back to playing games regularly and uploading regularly. We were just talking about, the lack of views and stuff. And I understand because it's hard to follow a creator, especially from experience, who's not consistent. I mean, I'm a Corey Kenshin fan. I understand that. Guy's gone 6 months sometimes and but again, life happens. People have personal lives away from YouTube, and these last several months have just been super chaotic and busy for me.
Hmm.
And just really, it's hard to upload when I'm not motivated when you're not in the zone to
Hmm.
record because I have recorded so many videos so many times where I literally have started the editing process and I'm almost done and I'm almost about to finalize it and it's like, nah, I'm just not feeling this. So to me, the quality matters far more than the quantity, and I'm waiting until I get this stuff settled down and taken care of in my house
Yeah.
before I ever try and get back onto editing and recording stuff again because I want the room to look nice. I want to reorganize to where it looks nice, where I'm not just sitting on my bed like I am right now with a bunch of pops and plushes behind me. I want to actually have a nice setup where I can have something consistent, where I don't have to take stuff down and move stuff around to have a nice setup. Because I was doing that when I was opening Pokemon cards. I won't be doing that much anymore because that really did not get that many views, and obviously people did not vibe with that much. But I just want to get a a baseline for staying consistent. And I don't know that I'll ever be as consistent as I was during the Smash Ultimate cycle because hype is a heck of a drug, and I just really do not think I have that in me again,
Hmm.
especially now because my schedule has just gotten crazier since then. So I just life is unexpected anyway, so you never know what's going to happen. So just expect that I'll never be at the hype level that I was with Ultimate, and I have a lot of other stuff. My channel has always been super varied. Well, before I did Ultimate content, before I did Shantae content, and that's still going to be a part of the channel. It's just not going to be the only part. There's going to be
Right.
more Pokemon stuff. There's going to be more gaming stuff. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that I have planned, parody stuff, and all. Just I have so much that I've had stewing in my head for sometimes years that I just have not put to paper with a script, or I haven't edited or recorded for it all. So there's plenty of stuff I have in the pipeline and in the works, in the cogs in my brain. I just need to get stuff done at home, squared away here in real life before I get back onto YouTube. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have, like I said, I haven't touched my Switch in weeks. Kind of wanted to take a break from Pokemon Legends Arceus because I just went gung ho for so many hours in that game, and it's a great game. But I just needed a break because I needed to get stuff done around here.
I,
So
s- I
yeah, I
still
just
haven't
have.
yet touched it.
Yeah, it's fun. I think you'll like it. But I do have to say that I'm very excited because my brother and our friend and I are going to go see Sonic 2 this
Oh, ho,
weekend.
ho.
So that's going to be cool.
Then you
He's going to be
can
able to go. So,
then you can listen to the two vlogs that I made.
yes, yes. So,
So, that was an awesome movie, and I can't talk about it because of
I know. I'm
spoilers.
sorry.
But
We can talk about it next week.
no,
So,
we still can't because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it.
y'all can skip next. Y'all can skip next week. Or we can wait till the end of the episode next week
I don't know.
to
We'll
talk about
see.
it. Because we can talk about like for 30 minutes of other stuff and it's like now we talk about Sonic 2.
Oh,
So,
excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Well, I mean, last week I had PapaGenos on
mhm.
for the first time in 2 years, I think. It
It's
doesn't
been a
feel that
while, which I
long.
know he's been tied up with his work
Yeah.
schedule too. So totally understand that.
Yeah.
Totally understand that.
And so since we were supposed to record last night, like we were trying to aim for Mondays, but I don't know. There was something wrong with the phone where you wouldn't get my text or something.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna have to get a new
oh
phone
look, it's
because
Apocalypso in the chat.
it's hey, what's up, Dan?
What's up, man?
Um, yeah, good to have you, man. We got to have him back on the show sometime.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a list of people that
We
we're
have a
trying to get
list,
sorted back into the schedule, the
right?
rotation. So, but
Um,
yeah, it's I'm gonna have to get a new phone because I don't know what it is with this thing. I thought that 32 gigs of phone data would be enough for like phone storage,
mhm.
and it's not when 16 of that is phone storage already pre-built into the phone. So yeah, I've had I've had
RAM
I've
or
had
not RAM?
huh?
The RAM or the actual
I
storage?
think it is the RAM of the phone. It takes up such a huge chunk of storage, and then all the updates. Oh my gosh, it just keeps slowing my phone down, and that's
I
intentional, I'm
still have
sure.
an
So you buy the
iPhone.
newest one.
I still have
But
an iPhone 7 Plus from I think that's from
hey,
2016.
I've always used out of date phones. I don't understand the point of getting a phone every single time they update because if you get a phone every year, it one is expensive as heck, and two, it you don't really I don't know. You have a phone for a certain amount of time, I feel like you kind of get attached to it, and this one has been in my hand for like 3 or 4 years now,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
I don't know.
Apocalypse, so don't
It's
throw your
almost
chair
like
at the wall.
hmm,
He said he threw his chair at the wall because his
oh
laptop was slow. It's like I feel that anger, but don't do
yeah,
that.
the wall did nothing wrong, but yeah, I've got to get a new phone. Something with more storage because I've had to delete Pokemon Go and other games on my phone because I did not have room, and now I'm trying to. I was trying to. It bugs me so bad because I've got some stuff on Mercari I was trying to sell because I'm trying to purge some more Funko Pops and stuff for my collection because I've been getting more stuff and just trying to sort this like, do I really want to keep this? And so I'm trying to sell stuff on Mercari, but for some reason the photo would not upload because it said it needs a JPEG, JPEG.
Mm.
And all my photos that I took last night, I literally took like 20, 30 photos of new stuff that I was trying to sell, and it's JPG.
Oh,
Why that matters, I don't know, because it's just a picture on a phone, but I don't know if it's an update with Mercari that I haven't been able to update because phone storage issues. So it's
mm.
been a gom. I've got a lot of stuff I need to take care of, trying to just get stuff organized. And like I said, the bulk order, the bulk. So, mm, so
Mm.
yeah, don't go too hot and heavy on Pokemon cards because you will pay the price with bulk, and you'll pay the price with your wallet because
That's why I
mm,
went like with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I want cards, I just buy the singles because
yeah,
there's nowhere to put all those cards.
yeah, and there is so much of a rush pulling those chase cards that you want. And I mean, I pulled two shiny Charizard VMAXs from Shining
Mm.
Fates, and it's like I know how hype you are, how hype that is to pull it. But at some point, it's like, am I really gonna keep opening a $50 ETB when I
No.
can just buy the cards I need for a couple bucks each? So
Mm.
yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with Shining Fates. My brother actually was at GameStop the other day, and he was like, "They've got some Shining Fates ETBs you want?" And I was like, "Dude, I've opened like 10 of those over the course of like a year and a half, 2 years.
You know,
I don't need any more. I'm well, not 2 years, a year and a half almost. But yeah, it's good set, but I've opened so
you
much
know,
of it. So
people complain about loot boxes, but TCG is like the original loot box. It's
yeah,
been around since before loot boxes. Like,
hmm
if you're gonna be mad at loot boxes in games, be mad at TCG trading card games.
that is true. It's true. I am thankful that a lot of the newer Japanese sets are a lot more forgiving. Like you get really cool reverse hollows and stuff like that. And then the special sets like VMAX Climax and Shiny Star V, where every single pack has a V or better. So it's
Hmm.
stuff like that I like. I appreciate. But then you get English, it's like you can open 20 packs and pull absolute garbage, or you can open 5 packs and pull all full arts. So it's totally varied. It totally depends.
Mm.
But I and yeah, so it's a gamble, but man, when you pull that card you're looking for, I still look back and I remember how hard I popped off at Shiny Charizard VMAX the first time I pulled one. So it was fun. But we're not talking about card games, we're talking about video games. So a little
Right.
bit of a tangent, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Apocalypse. So yes, you're the only one, but that's all good. The only one in the chat. Yes. Actually, for the past couple episodes, I haven't had anyone in the chat, so you're the most.
hmm
So hooray!
Good to have you here, man.
Yeah. In the past week. Well, actually, so since we didn't record last night, I had this idea to do this funny video based on. So I actually got like roughly 20 new subscribers just from this video, which was really cool. But basically, in a nutshell, some legal shenanigans going on with one of the writers of one of the older writers of the Sonic the Hedgehog comic by Archie Comics, which is now defunct is the right word. It's no longer
Hmm.
being worked on. And so the said writer is saying that he owns certain things, which I don't think he does. Um, I don't claim to know copyright law, but I guess familiar with what should and should not be copyrighted, I suppose, and I don't know, but I made a video. So because of the new Sonic movie, he was saying things on Twitter like, oh, people saying this happened. Well, like, that's I did something similar in a comic or stuff like that, and so
Hmm.
it got me thinking of an episode of Metalocalypse where Murderface claims that he's a songwriter, and they're like calling him out on it, and he's like, well, just because like like I could have done that doesn't so I should take credit for it because I could have done it, and it's like no. so so I redubbed that scene with with the Sonic talk, and thankfully I think I do a decent enough job at like impersonating the characters according to the comments I did. Maybe the audio quality could have been a bit better. I think the mic was peaking at certain parts, so I was just like, I wish my audio quality was better, or like maybe I paid better attention to it. But I was sort of just having fun recording
Hmm.
it, and not
Yep.
necessarily like making it perfect. And I was thinking of just doing it as a one-off joke because I was just like, this idea is brilliant. I was cracking myself up while I was working on it, editing it. I'm like, this is just so brilliant. And then I put it out there, and it's got so many views since last night. It's the most views I've ever seen in my entire life for any of my videos. I mean, I don't even know if I get like 100 on some things, but let me see, what is it currently at? Just to get myself excited.
Think it's around 4,000 now.
3.7 it says for me.
Hey,
So, um, yeah, that's like the most I've ever seen. So, but
feels good, don't it?
yeah, but somebody said, "Oh, like please do more. I'm begging you," or something like that. And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Like, I don't want my bread and butter to be making fun of this one guy. Um, but if he wants to act a fool, no. But I mean, if like there's a couple of other scenes at least in Metalocalypse I could think of that match the same scenario. So I'm like, I could make a like Ken Penders in a Nutshell 2 and a Ken Penders in a Nutshell 3. Um, it might not it might not be as apparent to me. Like this one, it was pretty like exact. Like, oh, he has to be this one, and like Sega has to be saying this, or like Ian Flynn has to jump in, who's like one of the current writers. I was like, I kind of knew most part who was going to be who, and for these other ones, I'm like, I'm not sure who some of these people can be,
Hmm.
but like, if I can get it to work out, I think it would be funny. So I can do the voices too, which is pretty good. Brutal. So anyway, aside from that, game wise, I'm still chugging away at Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't touched it in a couple days. I think I'm at the end. There's this section of the map that's locked off, and I think I need to initiate the end game to go there, and I'm just assuming that's the end of the game. But there's still some sections of the map I haven't I haven't even explored, and in the first game, if you did all the side quests, certain characters you've helped in those side quests will appear in like the end of the game to help you in the final battle. So I'm like, oh, maybe there's something like that in this game. Like I want to do all the side quests, help all the people. Maybe I'll see one or two things that like I wouldn't see if I didn't help everyone. So I'm like, I'll do all the side quests and then finish the game. and then I'll be done with it. But like that's taking a long time. So, um, but that's what I've been up to.
Hmm.
And I
And that's the good thing about games like that is that you have a lot to do, but then at the same time, that's the bad thing about it because you have a lot to do, and
yeah,
you feel like it's not complete until you do those things.
I have a lot to do.
So,
It's like a blessing and a curse.
hmm.
Because there were times where I was like, I should really be working on one of my projects, whether it's my comic or the Sonic Timeline video that I hadn't touched in weeks. And I'm talking to somebody to potentially help me edit it. This way, like I can kind of get it out there, and this way I don't have to
Okay.
chip away at it. Like I spent a number of hours on it the other day just because it's like I gotta do this because somebody who I forget their name. I want to say the name is like Comic Drake or something, but I don't know if that's the person. Yeah, I mean, that's just another name that I saw videos of. But there's someone who used to work at Game Theory, and he uploaded a Sonic timeline recently that he said was rejected by Game Theory. And it's got like thousands and thousands of views, and I'm like, you're missing so much stuff, though. I mean, props to you for doing it, and like no hate on you or anything, but I'm just like, I spent a lot of time, and not just myself. Like this is like a almost like over a decade in the making. Plus, I've been talking with other people, and we've come up with theories together. And I'm like, yeah, and we've uncovered some information that nobody's like talking about. I'm like, I think that my timeline like will maybe outdo yours. And I hate to say that because I sound like such an ass saying that. Like, everyone, my timeline is not the end all be all timeline. Like when I put it out, I'm not like this is the timeline. Like I don't. That's not my mentality about it. It's just like I just think that maybe what I did was a little like more consistent among because like
Hmm.
I noticed he put some things up that was against official word, but also if he made that like years ago, then it's not up to date anyway. So again, no hate. I'm sure he did all his research, but I'm just like, I want to be like, guys, I got the timeline. Don't worry. But like, obviously, mine is not official. But I just feel like I did a really good job, and I didn't work on it alone. There are some people who pointed out stuff to me that I was like, oh yeah, you're right. That's a good idea. And so like I feel like I kind of worked with at least a couple of people in the community to like make it fit everything into it. Like even the official games have official alternative media to support them that were excluded. Like recently, for example, Sonic Colors was released as Sonic Colors Ultimate, and
Hmm.
they released like a like a two not issue, but like I forget how many pages it was. It might have been like 1 or 2 pages each, but they uploaded a comic that acted as a prequel, like leading up to the events of Sonic Colors. And I think there was something else too, Sonic Colors related. But I'm like, oh yeah, the animation. They uploaded an animation, like a voice acted and everything with Sonic
Hmm.
on one of the I think the Candy Planet at the Candy Park, and he fought against Metal Sonic. So like I took that and I made it's like so obviously this takes place during Sonic Colors because they're already in the game. They're already on one of the planets. So this takes place when they're on the Sweets Mountain or whatever it's called. I don't know. I want to say Cocoa Mountain, but that's Mario. And the comics take place before that. So it's like there's more than just the game. In some of these games, there's alternate media that like tells the complete story. And Sonic Forces itself has 4 or 5 digital comics leading into the game, you know? So, like, it's not just the games, there's other things that pretty sure are probably canon. So, and then I go in depth with explaining the difference between the comics. Like, this is why this one is game canon because it's published by Sega. This was by Sega. Whereas, like the IDW and the Archie ones are not. So like I go in depth with it, and I feel like I outdid myself, but I just got to get it out there, and it's so hard because it takes forever to edit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as time goes by, I think of more stuff to add in. It's like I forgot about the Sonic Colors comic because it was so new. Like it just I just completely forgot about it, and so I like had to go back and add that into the recording. And then recently, um, something I had to go back and I had to go back and add something because the official Sonic encyclopedia that just came out, like supported some new timeline things. So I had to go back and like re-edit it and like swap something out and put in some new lines. And then I think something else came out that I was like, well, I gotta record this now. And I also discussed some theories that people use, like um, Apocalypse said comic Drake, so I guess that is his. Oh yeah, I do want to make a Kingdom Hearts timeline. That's like one of the next ones I want to tackle, especially now that it's become so. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word, like confusing? It's become
Yeah,
so.
mind-boggling.
Well, there's a phrase, like a word people always use. It's become so like I don't know.
um, for confusing.
Yeah, well, it's confusing for lack of a better term. Just
Hmm.
imagine I said a better word, I guess. But it's become so confusing that like you miss one game and you're like lost
Yeah.
completely. And
Yep.
especially if you miss a mobile game, you're probably going to be lost. So that's one of the series I want to cover too.
Hmm.
But back to what I was saying, and I don't want to just keep rambling on and on, but I feel, I mean, the intention was to make like the end all be all timeline. But do I think it's the end all be all timeline? Officially, no. I don't want to say like, oh, my timeline's better than yours, but like part of me wants to think that because I did spend a lot of time on it. Like anybody's gonna think that of their own timeline, but do I think that mine is like the, oh, Sega, look at my timeline, it's the greatest? No, I want to, but no. I have to be a little humble. Um, Great. I sound like I'm digging myself deeper into a hole. Like, do I think mine's the best? No, no. I mean, I have to have a little bit of
Notice me, Sega-pai.
yeah, say goodbye. Yeah, I have to have a little bit of pride on something that I
Oh
spent a
yeah.
lot of time on. So I mean, that's where it's coming from. It's not coming out of animosity towards anyone else. It's just like I spent a lot of time on it, and I can't get it out there fast enough to show people. So it's a little frustrating in that sense too. But yeah. Oh, I was gonna say one of the things that he mentioned was Sonic CD causing a split timeline. I'm like, it's possible, but like because of his video, I went back and re-recorded new stuff to like be like, I heard of this new theory, and like I guess it's possible, but this and this is the reason why it doesn't necessarily have to split. You know, like he talks about like the bad future, but honestly, in one of the other games, it's like it's not a problem. In one of the other games, it's not a problem because one of them is like, just for example, so the one in Sonic Generations. Like, so the whole theory of the split timeline caused by CD is um you can change the future in CD. So like you can play in a bad future or a good future, and you race Metal Sonic in the bad future. Or I guess you could race him in a good future too, but the point is about the end of the game, you save Little Planet's future, and all the futures become a good future. So it's like, oh, so why are you racing Metal Sonic in the bad future in Stardust Speedway in other games that revisit that? And like, honestly, Sonic Generations is also pulling in Crisis City from Sonic 06, which erased itself. So it's like the answer is clear that the Time Eater can just pull in time from even outside of time. Like how else are you gonna bring in something that was erased? You know. So
Hmm.
if you could bring in events from a game that were erased, like Sonic 06, why can't you bring in events that were erased from like saving the future by changing time? So it's like there are reasons within those games that you could explain why the bad future is there. But I mean, it could split into a split timeline. Who knows? Anyway, I've gone on long enough about the Sonic timeline. I think he did a great job. I'm not saying he did a bad job because it is an undertaking to look at the Sonic timeline. And honestly, if I look at my notes from like years ago when I tried to do it, it's completely off. Like off from at least where I stand on it now. And because it's always changing, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably wrong now about stuff too. So I don't know. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts was brought up. And you mentioned it to me, saying 4 was announced. So, what are you looking forward to about Kingdom Hearts 4?
Well, um, the fact that it's Kingdom Hearts 4 is a big one. And I also like that in the trailer we basically have confirmation that Hades is back because there's not many Disney characters that would have a blue flame that turns to a red flame that would scare Donald and Goofy. So I think my boy is back. If you don't know, Hades is my favorite Disney villain, so I'm beyond hyped
Is
that
there
he's
a way
going
to
to be back.
tell?
So,
Because the trailer's in Japanese, and somebody says something, and I'm
mhm.
curious, is that the same voice actor for Hades in
I need to
Japanese?
look up a clip of him in Japanese because he does kind of have a rasp at one point, like James Woods does in
Hmm.
English. But I don't know if it's the same voice actor. But people are saying that sounds like his voice actor. So, excuse me. Um, but I need to look up his voice in Japanese and see how it matches up. But it kind of I would assume it's him because it's like at first I saw the blue will-o-wisp was like, yo, is this Brave? Are they gonna meet Merida? But then he's taught and I was like, oh, that's definitely not Merida. But yeah, so I didn't know
Actually,
what they were gonna do because I was like, there's not many blue will-o-wisps in Disney
I
movies.
didn't even
So
think of it, but I could see it being Hades because the whole purpose of where Sora went was, and I think it's like
yep.
there was the end of I don't know if it's I forget what's called the final world or something, which is like when you die. So I guess if you die when you die,
Oh, what
at
is it? Yeah, the one with Chirithy, where Chirithy
yeah, at
was
the
at.
end of 3, you go to the final
Hmm.
world, and then I guess he goes to so there's reality and unreality. So it seems like where he was sent to was unreality,
Hmm.
and
And now this new world that he's in is like it's a normal world for other people, but then like this the other girl in the trailer with Sora said it's like an afterworld for people like them. So we don't know what people like them means. What is she? Who is she?
oh,
So
she's from the mobile
we're
game.
not sure. Oh, okay.
She's
I did not know that because I haven't played.
she's the somebody of Marluxia. What was his name? Lorian. It was his sister,
Oh,
and
okay.
one of the what are their names? One of the masters, I think.
Uh-huh.
Or somebody. Oh, Darkness. It was just like the name for like this entity that was like up to
Darkness.
shenanigans in Union Cross slash Key slash whatever you want to call it. I think he possessed somebody. Oh, he possessed. Now we're getting into like. See, I don't want to spoil stuff, but at the same time, like we're talking about the mobile game that, like, if you haven't seen the cutscenes by now, you're probably not going to.
I
I
haven't.
don't know,
I
but
I need to look them up, but I'm not going to play Union Cross
so
anytime soon, so
so
it's fine.
Ventus, not Ventus. Yeah, Ventus was around during the Keyblade War, and he was I forget which union he was in, or if it really even mattered. But this entity known as Darkness winded up possessing him and killing Loriam or Marluxia's somebody's sister. I forget her name. Oh crap! It was like a really weird name. I think it was like meant to be a flower or something. I don't know. But Strelitzia. Uh, Apocalypse says I'm not following this at all because I know nothing about Kingdom Hearts and don't really care about the series.
I'm not
Sorry,
following
man.
either, man, because this is out of my
Okay,
realm
so
because I have not played any of the
okay,
mobile
so
games.
before
So
Kingdom Hearts, way back in the past, there was like the masters. They were in charge of different unions. They were led by the Master of Masters who disappeared. He left them like some notes and some jobs, say like you guys got to work on this, and he said one of you is a traitor, but like he didn't say which one. And then he was like peace, and he disappeared.
figure it
But
out for yourselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
by Apocalypse.
Mm.
So so basically shenanigans ensue, and before the Keyblade War starts, or was it after, or at some point during the events, like before, during, or after the Keyblade War, Darkness possesses Ventus and kills Loriam's sister Strelitzia, and take because she was going to be one of the new masters after the key. So each of the masters was like
Oh.
going to pick a new master to be, to like to take over for after the
Hmm.
Keyblade War. or not each of them, but one of the masters was gonna, I think, was picking five to be like the new masters because she knew like inevitably they were gonna all kill themselves during the Keyblade War or whatever.
Yeah.
So Strelitzia was one of the chosen new masters, and Darkness came in and was like, "Nah, boy." He's like killed Strelitzia and gave the notebook to say that she was going to be like took her notebook to say that she was going to be master and gave it to Ventus. So Ventus was like, but he wasn't aware of what happened. Like he didn't know what was going on. And I have a theory that Darkness somehow survived inside of Ventus and winds up later getting extracted by Xehanort to become Vanitas.
Yep. Okay.
That's my theory. I don't know if they said it or not. I don't know what's going on with that, but I kind of feel bad. I feel like I'm spoiling a lot, but at the same time, this isn't new. This
Hmm.
is at least within the last year, I guess. So,
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, Strelitzia. So you talked to somebody in Final World, known as the Unnamed Star, I think, and I don't remember if we know who that is or not. I know some people have theorized it was. So if you play in Kingdom Hearts 3 that like video game, I forget what it was called, but the one that's like takes place in where unreality is, I guess. Like there's things that seem similar to it. I forget the name of it. It's basically like Final Fantasy 15. You know that video game
Oh,
in
the
Twist?
Yozora world.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So people are thinking that the unnamed star is the girl in that game that he's like trying to rescue or something.
Okay.
Which would be interesting because I think she even mentions in Kingdom Hearts 3 that like she was from that world or something like that. Like I forget. It's been a little while. I'm a little rusty on my Kingdom Hearts lore. I'm sure like I'll be diving into it when 4 comes out. But there's like so much information, and the ending of the mobile game, the first mobile game, really like throws all these characters into different points in time, and you're like, where are they now? Where is he now? Where is she now? Like, and you're like, oh, so that's how this probably got started. I think like one of the characters, Brain, his name is. I think he was like he wakes up in, I guess, pre Scala ad Kylum, which is that like final
Hmm.
ish level that Xehanort takes you to, and then
Yep.
that's where like Xehanort's mobile game begins, and it's just like I guess Brain starts that town, and then I think the new mobile game they announced called Missing Link. I remember seeing Brain in there, so I'm like, does that take place when he's established this town and still before Xehanort's Dark Road game? Like, I'm sure we'll get the answer soon enough, but like, I feel like there's lots of questions that they just still never answered.
Hmm.
Like,
Which is par for the course with Kingdom Hearts. So.
I still don't know why. And was it Nomura? Tetsuya Nomura? I
Hmm.
He answered it like in such a weird way, because if Xemnas is the nobody of like the Xehanort,
And yeah,
well,
the
Ansem,
Xehanort Ansem. Yeah,
who was originally
Ansem. Who is it? Ansem.
so it's Terra possessed by
Yep.
Xehanort, who because of the way it worked out, they forget who they are, becomes the apprentice of Ansem the Wise, and then winds up like betraying him by and taking over his name. So like the Xehanort's apprentice version of Ansem, uh, technically can wield a Keyblade. So why can't Xemnas wield a Keyblade? Like why did they need to go through all the trouble of having
Hmm.
Roxas? And the whole purpose of creating Shion was like, oh, Roxas is not collecting hearts for us fast enough, so we need another Keyblade wielder. Oh, and then they create Shion. So it's like, what? Why can't you use your Keyblade? Like you don't yourself. And I think there was some kind of like there was a question asked to Nomura, like why can't Xemnas use his Keyblade? And I think said something. I think it was response was something along the lines of maybe it's not like how come he can't, but why does he choose not to? And I'm like, well, why does he choose not to? And then he doesn't answer it, you know? It's
Because I
like,
don't like to.
yeah.
Because I can use cool dual lightsabers.
It's such like a strange, like, I don't know. Is it a plot hole? Like, is there an actual reason he just didn't tell us? Like, why couldn't Zemnis use a Keyblade? Like, his plans might have succeeded if it wasn't for like the fact that he got a hold of Roxas, and then they're like, oh, we gotta make Sora whole again. Let's find Roxas, and then bring the heroes into it, and then they find out about Organization 13 and their shenanigans, and then they stop Zemnis. It's like all this could have been avoided if you just used your Keyblade. Like, right? Like, you would have created your Kingdom Hearts with the hearts of man and had your wish to become whole, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just like really weird.
Yeah. Latest Kingdom Hearts game? Did you hear?
Something just happened with OBS.
Okay.
It said that it disconnected and it's reconnecting. I think we're back live
Okay.
again. Something
So
happened there.
I don't know if you guys heard anything I just said. But okay, I was talking about dual
sorry
lights.
about that. Something happened, guys.
Okay. Because I knew it.
But it looks like we're back.
Because it was going boop boop and you froze, and I didn't know if that messed
Yeah,
up on
you
both our
froze
ends
for
or not.
me.
But it's crazy.
Still recording and still streaming, and we're still live.
Okay.
But it like was loading for a moment there. But I guess repeat what you were saying.
I don't know how much of that y'all heard, but anyway, quick TLDR of what I just said. In the intro of Kingdom Hearts 4's teaser trailer, which looks absolutely stunning, it's like real life. It looks insanely good. I was just like, when the waters and the trees, and I was just like, dude, this looks like a real video, a real movie or something. But someone compared it side by side with the shot of Endor from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they looked very similar, the terrain and all that. But what got me was there is actually a scene about right here in the close to the ground where there is a big metal disc near the top of the photo. There are a couple things that could be. It could just be some kind of machinery in this force for some reason, or it could be an AT-AT or an AT-ST on Endor. And this could mean Star Wars is in Kingdom Hearts 4, and I would be so insanely psyched if that is the case, because that also opens the door for Marvel to possibly be part of it as well. And if we get Star Wars and Marvel in Kingdom Hearts 4, I will absolutely lose my mind.
Well,
can you imagine?
This is the okay, so what we've been seeing up until now, I think the characters refer to as reality, and where Sora was sent is unreality. What if reality is a matter of perspective, and where they were sent is that place as a reality, and the whole Disney worlds and Pixar worlds is unreality to them? So, I mean, it's kind of like which one's your normal, and it's like you were born in Hyrule, or imagine you were born in Low Rule in terms of Zelda, and you
That's
visit
a thing.
Hyrule. Yeah.
Low Rule is actually a thing.
Yeah, it's in the Link Between Worlds.
That's amazing.
It's like a dark version of Hyrule, I guess. But imagine like you were born in Low Rule, and then you stumble across Hyrule, and you're like, oh, it's that other world. Like, yeah, to you it's the other one because you were born and raised in Low Rule. But I'm wondering if what they're doing is, they're treating this side of reality, excuse me, burping here. This side of reality is dedicated to all the cartoony looking things. With some things aside, you know, like we had Tron,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
we've had Pirates of the Caribbean. So I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions, and there could be exceptions in their side too. But it sounds
and in
like
a way, Yuzora's world too, kind of. Tron's kind of in that boat too, where it's
Yozora is
in a video game, but it's super realistic. So,
well, Yozora is, I think, in the unreality.
oh, okay.
So the whole purpose of like the end of 3 was that Sora was, I guess, I mean, is this really a spoiler if you're talking about pre-Kingdom Hearts 4? I mean, we are talking about the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I mean, you need to know this stuff to play 4. So, I mean, and based on our conversation up to this point, you could probably guess where I'm headed. But it's like something happens to Sora, and he's sent to unreality, which consists of characters that were in a video game in reality.
Hmm.
So it's like, what is this unreality? Is it like all of the fictional stuff in the that all the stuff that's fictional to so like let's say for so in the toy box world in Toy Story there was a video game and that's where he was supposedly sent in unreality. So what if like I don't know, Cinderella decides to make a comic series and does that become a world in unreality? Like is unreality like an imagination world of sorts? Like so that I'm curious like what's that connection, you know? Or did somebody take a copy of unreality just like how in the games or like they can make data worlds like whether it's recoded or it's one of the mobile games like there exists the ability to create worlds made of data based on real worlds. So what if that is a copy of a world from unreality,
Hmm.
you know? How was it accessed? I don't know. But you know, it's just like that. What's that connection is kind of like interesting to think about. But what I was getting at before was, what if reality as we know it so far? So when I say reality, I mean like the worlds we played up until now, the Disney, the Pixar, the whatever, the cartoony, the I guess not so cartoony in some places. What if all of reality is like that style, and then they're reserving all the other franchises that Disney's acquired because it has a different flavor to it.
Hmm.
Um, as like reserved for unreality. Meaning we'll see Star Wars in unreality. We'll see the Marvel stuff in unreality.
Hmm.
What else did Disney buy?
20th Century Fox,
And what kind of things can we see from Fox?
Alien, The Simpsons.
Back to the Future?
Ah, yes. I think Back to the Future is 20th Century Fox. I'm pretty sure. Hmm. That opens a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox. So I think unreality is going to be reserved for these franchises that are created outside of Disney but owned by Disney.
Hmm.
And like we got a taste of it with Pixar in in up until now in reality, and like they I think they've said if we were going to explore Star Wars and stuff, it wouldn't be until the next saga. Like I think they wanted to keep things feeling the same up until where like up to the end of the saga. You don't want to introduce like too many estranged things because it definitely does have a different feel to it.
Oh yeah.
Like there are some franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean and Tron already pushing it, but I think like you can use real world knowledge as a means of separating these franchises between reality and unreality. I think like that might just be how they're approaching it with maybe some minor exceptions here and there. Like Disney Pixar is reality. And Final Fantasy, Square Enix, because they also make the game. And then I'm sure we'll see Star Wars and Marvel of some sort. They can even bring in the voice actors that they had for the What If series,
Yeah.
Marvel What If, because some of them were really good impersonations,
Mhm.
and others were the actors returning to
Yep.
reprise their roles. So it sounds like some of them at least might be interested in
Mhm.
voice acting
And
characters.
if you look, even Kingdom Hearts 3 had a lot of the voice actors and actresses. They actually had Zachary Levi,
Mm,
Mandy Moore, Adina Menzel, Kristen Bell, Josh Gad, and others like that. But then at the same time, they had someone doing the voices for Mike and Sully, Buzz and Woody. But then they also had John Ratzenberger and Wallace Shawn for Ham and Rex. So
mm,
it's totally varied who they could get the voice actors for. And then of course James Woods will be returning as Hades because he's always said, as long as this character is a thing, I will love to play him.
mm.
And thankfully so, because James is fantastic as Hades. But there's certain characters that I'm not sure. Like obviously they couldn't pay Robert Downey Jr. to be Iron Man. I don't think that that's in the
No,
budget.
somebody else
But
voiced him
yeah.
in the What If
Yeah, and he
series
did
anyway.
a good job. And honestly, Lake Bell did a great job as Scarlett Johansson, I
Mm.
thought. So,
I
yeah.
think that impersonators would work fine if they
Hmm.
can't get those actors.
Yep.
And I feel like there's got to be like one or two actors that would
Oh
be like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, that's awesome. Of course I'm going to return."
Yep.
You know, like I can't, I have no idea, but I would imagine there's got to be at least one actor who's like
Yeah.
all gung ho about playing
I
their
feel like
character.
I feel like I was I would feel like Tom Holland would, but I feel like he's getting kind
That's
of the
Sony
rising
though.
star. But I feel like Tom Hiddleston would return for
True.
Loki.
Ooh, Loki with
Because
some
I don't think
Heartless.
anybody else could be Loki except him,
Mm-hmm.
unless you start pulling from the stuff like the Avengers Assemble Disney XD shows and the cartoons and the Lego Marvel stuff,
I
where you start
think they
getting those voice
know.
actors and stuff.
I
But
think they know people would be annoyed if they
yeah,
didn't like
so
try to use the
or
actors.
at
I mean,
least
they might
use yeah.
not,
It depends
but
if they do the MCU versions of those characters or like the more comic book versions,
mm,
like the Avengers Assemble and the Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff like that, because then you can pull from different voice actors. Like
mm,
Yuri Lowenthal for Spidey would be fantastic, and he did a great job in the Spider-Man PS4, PS5 game.
mm.
But then he's also not Tom Holland, so it
I
depends on
know.
which versions of the characters you're pulling from. Like if you get the MCU versions, you've got to have Tom Hiddleston as Loki. You've got to have
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye and others like that because some people have good impersonators, but there's some that I don't know of anybody that could impersonate Tom Hiddleston.
Mm.
He just is Loki at this point. So there's certain actors that, like you said, I feel like would be super gung ho, and of course, money talks. I mean, like I
Yeah,
said, they were
and
able to
Disney's
get
got
like
it.
Adina
Money
Menzel.
talks,
So
and Disney's got
yep.
it.
So, and I
So,
do like that because Disney has so much money to just blow that they could get people on that would I mean, they already had Mark Hamill as Ericus and
right.
Leonard Nimoy as Xehanort in the past. So they have the budget for big name voice actors and actresses. So I they could do it as long as they want to. And they've had several of the original Disney voice actors and actresses like Jodie Benson and the original actor for Tron. It just will they do it? Because at the same time, then they've also had people like the guy that plays Mike Wazowski, who actually plays Mr. Crocker on Fairly Odd Parents. I found that out later. I think it's something
Hmm.
like Carlos Alaverqui or something like that. But he also plays Rocco on Rocco's Modern Life. He's actually a really good Billy Crystal impersonator, but he did a great job as Mike. But he's also not Billy Crystal. So it's like, more
Hmm.
importantly than the name, I want the character to sound like the character. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, Jack Sparrow did not sound like Johnny Depp. He sounded like James Arnold Taylor. He sounded like Obi-Wan Kenobi more than he
Hmm.
did Jack Sparrow. But then come to the Kingdom Hearts 3 and it sounds like Jack Sparrow. It sounds like Johnny Depp. And at first I thought it was until I saw the credits. I was like, oh, that's not Johnny Depp. What? Okay. So there it really depends on the quality of the voice, I feel like. And more than the
Hmm.
name of the actor. I just want him to sound like the character. So
Hmm.
yeah. But again, we so hyped to have Star Wars and Marvel and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So
What are some other Fox 20th Century Fox like?
The Simpsons.
I guess
I
yeah.
don't know how that would work, but that having Sora be a cursed Simpsons OC would be pretty hilarious. But
Yeah. The
Bart, there's this weird kid in the yard with a big key.
excuse me. You said Alien, but I think that's rated R. I don't think they would
Yeah,
put that
I
in. Or they would
oh yeah,
kidify it.
it'd be cool to see Sora like slashing xenomorphs and stuff,
They're
but I
not
don't know
gonna.
how you can tone that down because their whole
You
thing is
can't. The whole
parasitizing
bursting out
creatures.
of your chest. You
Yeah,
know,
like a darkness heartless xenomorph would be freaking sick. I just don't
unless
know how you could tone that down. So
unless they either remove the chest burster or they do something where like they put the chest bursters inside Heartless or something, or like some container of dark energy, or they do something where they get around
yeah,
the chest burst, or they just rewrite it and say like in this version they don't burst out of your chest. Like I don't know, they were just like, oh, they come out of the eggs and they grow. Like they might just cut out the chest burst, but I also feel like they'd probably just not put Alien in.
yeah. It's just if you start taking away too much, it doesn't become alien
Yeah,
anymore. So I mean, if you take away the face huggers and the chest bursters, is it really alien? I mean, you still have the xenomorph, but where do you get the xenomorph from? You get it from this.
yeah.
So, but I feel like Back to the Future, like you said, would be a fantastic world. That would be
Mm.
super cool because that already deals with like time travel and different dimensions and stuff. That would be so cool. That
And if they throw in the ability to time travel in the other worlds, then you can go back to like the original trilogy or like the sequel trilogy for Star Wars.
Yep.
You know, or like
Dude, that'd be
Marvel, you can
so
go,
sick.
or even for Marvel, you can go back to like the first Endgame all the way up to like the Infinity War. You know, and it's like, oh, well, I'll see you in a few years, and it's like then you continue the Marvel world, in there. You know, so you can
He's
basically go through the entire Infinity
Sora
Saga.
skips ahead a couple years. He helps the Avengers back in 2012, and he skips ahead like, well, where's Black Widow? Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
Half our people are dead, so
yeah.
yeah.
I could imagine like that very first scene with Endgame, like or I don't know if it was the first Endgame, but there's just this iconic moment. Yeah, it might be like when they're all standing around and they're like ready to fight off against like the enemy. Like, can you imagine Sora just in there with them?
We're talking about the pan shot where it's the original six Avengers.
Yeah.
That's the original Avengers. Yep.
Okay.
Uh
Can you
huh.
imagine like Sora in there with
Yeah,
them and
everybody's like
Donald and
loading their
Goofy?
guns and stuff, and then Sora's like, ching.
Yeah.
Keyblade.
He just like sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
But actually, in it looks like his appearance adjusted for unreality as well.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly. Like I don't know. I'm just not a huge
Hmm.
fan of hyper realistic Sora, but I mean, I'll get used to
Yeah.
it. But at the same time, it makes sense that he looks realistic in a realistic world. But I don't know.
Okay.
I like spiky haired boy. Just
Yeah, I'm excited. Um, but yeah, it's getting late. I guess we should wrap it up now. And I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 4 and
mhm.
excited to see what the future for Kingdom Hearts brings. And if it is like those things I've been theorizing, then I am all for it, man. That sounds fun.
Yep. I'm gonna have to definitely start doing like I do Smash Bros reactions and waiting until I get home from work to record my reaction to Kingdom Hearts videos so I can upload those and
Honestly,
people can laugh at me. So,
they're probably not going to do this, but what they could do is like how Nintendo always did a Smash reveal. They can have a world reveal for Unreality, you
yeah.
know? And it's like you only need to show one to show the possibility. Like if they announce one like a Star Wars or something big at like the next big event, and then like afterwards they'll just do like what Nintendo does with like that screen like dum, dum,
Yep.
dum, dum,
Or like the
or
screen
just
goes
whatever the
black and like you hear the narrator no te yo to to," or whatever and then you hear ping and you're like "Ugh." So yeah that I would lose my mind. I just and that's the
it's
thing. I feel like if they do Star Wars, it's either going to focus. Someone made a great point about it focusing on Anakin because of his struggle with the light and dark sides of the Force.
mm,
Or you could do. I feel like if you don't do that, you have to do 4, 5, and 6 because Vader is just such an iconic villain,
yeah,
and Sora
they're
facing
gonna.
off against the head of Star Wars.
You know they're
Face
gonna
of
go
Star
the
Wars.
original
Oh yeah,
trilogy.
yep. And plus, my
And
boy
then
R2D2's in that, so that'd be cool.
and they can either do like if we have a game with Yuzora when he's younger or something, or like other characters in Unreality, then they can explore the original trilogy.
Yep.
You know, just like what they kind of did with Birth by Sleep, when they had like some of the characters when they were younger. So I think that they could do that.
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many things they can do, so many
Yep.
places they can go with this.
There,
Um,
that's what I love about the potential of Marvel and Star Wars is just there's so much potential. There's so much to work with. I mean, then you also have the Clone Wars. You could have stuff like Ahsoka and younger Anakin, and it just
mhm.
there and Mandalorian would be so freaking sick. Oh my gosh, that
Mm,
would be cool. But that's like there's so much to work with in the
yeah.
MCU or just the Marvel movie series and stuff, the TV series and stuff, and just I I'm excited. Obviously, just the potential, and of course, all the new Disney worlds you could have you could have Coco and Inside Out and other Pixar movies and stuff. Mm, I'm excited. I'm
And
very
they don't have to
excited.
worry about
So
Spider-Man being the MCU because they already well, spoilers for No Way Home. I'm not gonna say, but
yeah.
if you know it,
Well,
you know it.
Sony had they had to tie up the loose ends
Yeah.
with
Although
Sony anyway. So yeah.
it sounds like there's talks for a new trilogy. I heard with Tom Holland, which I hope so because
Hmm.
I want to see more of Spider-Man in the
Yeah.
MCU. And I mean, they could do. I just keep going back to it. They could do the MCU, and they could do Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts as like this is the unreality. These are the worlds in unreality, and we can have Biff from Back to the Future as like the ringleader, like how Maleficent is like the evil ringleader. Like,
What is he? What's he called? Eric Butthole? Is that like hey Butthole? Want to
yeah,
spar? What? Yeah,
butthole.
yeah,
I think so. I don't
yeah,
remember, but having like Doc Brown and
yeah.
like
Great Scott! What is that?
great Scott, what is
Yeah.
this? A key sword? Anyway, we're tangenting off. We could just keep
Mhm.
talking all night, but I think we should wrap it up. There's for you, there's dinners to be eaten.
Yep. And what we can do this week, dude, is go over the different 20th Century Fox IPs and
Mm,
stuff that Disney at least partially
that's
owns now, and we can talk about that next week
yeah, that's an
for
idea.
some ideas. So we already talked about Back to the Future and Alien and kind of ruled one of those out,
Who
but
owns
I know
Paramount?
there's a lot more. Huh?
Who owns Paramount?
Paramount is owned by Viacom, which is Comcast, which owns stuff like Nickelodeon and stuff like
Oh,
that,
so I was gonna
and
say,
Teenage
can we
Mutant Ninja
see
Turtles.
Sonic? Probably not.
Yeah. Which I mean, Sega's its own thing, but I think
Yeah,
Paramount signed the license with Sega to do
yeah.
the movies and stuff. So
I was just thinking, like,
yeah,
could they pull a Smash and go for third parties for Unreality? And it's like, well, this is a really cool series that we don't own, but we're Disney and we have Disney money, so like, let's bring this in as a world.
one one thing that if Disney was willing to play ball, and I have this little like head canon that Mickey Mouse, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Bugs Bunny are like the big three cartoon characters for their respective companies, Disney, Warner Brothers,
Mm,
and Viacom. And if Mickey is the king of his own realm, then Bugs and SpongeBob would be of theirs.
mm.
And I could see Donald and Goofy looking for help. And all of a sudden this keyhole opens up and it's like, here, Gora Shuri. It's like, we're friends of your king, Doc. And it's like, that's right, yeah. It's just like they're both Keyblade wielders, and I would freaking
I
die.
think
That
we've
would
had this
if they
conversation like
if
a
they had
year
throwaway
ago.
money and they were just like, you know what, let's go nuts, and we could have the
Yeah,
Looney Tunes and the Bikini Bottom gang in Disney, and it just,
I think
but
we
that's not
had
gonna happen.
this
But
conversation, but like, yeah, I was thinking like, for Unreality could have its own, but I feel like Unreality is gonna be Disney, but like other franchises they own.
yeah,
I think that's probably what it is.
mhm,
And I don't know, we might see some regular Disney or even some Square thrown in.
mhm,
Like maybe we could see Near. That's made by Square, right?
true,
Or
very true.
like
Lara
Lara
Croft,
Croft,
that would be sick. That would be cool.
Tomb Raider with like Heartless. The words
That'd be
when we're
cool,
talking
man.
about Alien, like I don't think we're gonna see this, but I was just like, what would like a heartless version of an Alien be? And I just thought of like the word heart burster instead of like chest burster.
Yep.
I was like, whoa, bursting out of
You
heartless.
know it looks sick as heck.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's like as grotesque as it could be, it would look so dope.
yeah.
I mean, so
I mean, you
yeah.
saw how detailed that dark side looked like. Assuming there was a
Yeah,
dark side,
man.
like so they can get detailed with like an
Hmm.
alien heartless, but it's just like they're not going to. They can either rewrite it, they can go back to like the early concept of like the Prometheus or whatever that movie was called. I think it was called Prometheus,
Yeah.
where nothing
Yep.
bursted out of any chests. Um, or did they? I don't remember. I don't know, but they could change it, or they could just not even broach the topic. There could be like these are these aliens that are on the loose, and they don't even have to broach the topic of them bursting
Yeah.
out of chests. Um, and then like someone could go in and rework how they're created. So it's just like, oh, new ones are being brought about because of Heartless, and don't
Hmm.
even like touch the fact that they used to come out of chests. But again, we're tangenting, and I think we should
They're
just
running off of like the spiritual heart instead of
yeah,
the actual physical heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
they burst out of like a black portal in your chest instead of
yeah,
your actual
like
chest. Yeah.
yeah, like a heartless, like so when it's gonna burst out of a heartless, instead the heartless just like turns into energy, like shadow energy, and then like the alien comes out or something. It's just like, oh, nothing's actually bursting out of anyone's chest. This is a new version of Alien. So I don't know. Like we keep tangenting because there's so many cool
Yeah.
like ideas, but
It really is exciting. There's so much potential for this game,
I hope we're
and
not like
might just be we might just be setting our expectations too high. But we
yeah,
just came off of Smash Ultimate, where the impossible happened
Yeah.
with Sora and Banjo and Sephiroth and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
who knows? So
We were spoiled by Smash to like
yeah,
expect things. Oh man, it's like I'm about to like every time I'm about to say, all right, let's wrap it up. I'm like, what else is there? What else is there? But like we try to save it for next
we'll have to
time.
save it for next week.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
gotta have some ammo
yeah.
next week.
Okay, all right. Well, let's say where can they find you? Even though it's in the description.
You can follow me here on YouTube or over on Twitter. I would say Discord, but that's pretty much defunct at this point. So
Yeah. Same with me, except my Discord is not defunct, but I need more people to talk in there. So come join the community and talk. So, I guess that's it. All right. Well, hopefully
guys.
we'll see you guys next week.
night,
Wait.
guys.
Hold on. Gotta switch the end card. All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.